Let the record show that the regular Riverview City Council meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. on November 4th, 2024. Will the clerk please take roll?
Councilmember Ganaga.
Here.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Here.
Councilmember Prey.
Here.
Councilmember Robbins.
Here.
Mayor Swift.
Here.
Councilmember Webb.
Here.
Councilmember Workman.
Here.
Tonight we have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilwoman O'Neill and invocation by Councilman Prey. Please rise.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for our many blessings. We ask your blessings on these city officials who serve our community and instill in them the wisdom to help them serve this community for the common and the greatest good. Amen.
Amen. Jeff, any announcements?
Yes, Your Honor, we have an announcement. Todd Dickman, Recreation Department.
Thank you. Sorry, kind of lost myself there. So, no, I just wanted to let people know that we have a couple of events coming up real soon here. We have our Mayor's Gala on November 22nd, which will be a great night of music, a good meal by 1-9, and an open bar. And you can get tickets through the Recreation Department for $30 for that event. So if you'd like to be a part of probably about one of the best deals in town for that night, please come to the Recreation Department and sign up. And then the following night in Young Patriots Park, we are going to have our annual tree lighting. The tree lighting, is our event to kick off the holidays. We will have some wintertime fun for the family and also some fireworks, and the kids can get a chance to see Santa Claus. Also, if you have not yet signed up for youth basketball, our registration is still ongoing for youth basketball, so contact the Recreation Department. It is grades 3 through 6 that can be a part of the youth basketball season. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
That's it, Your Honor.
Okay, I do have a couple. For those who know Mr. Fred Kyer, longtime teacher at Riverview Community School System. Keep him in your prayers. He's recovering from a health issue. And then finally, I would like to congratulate, on behalf of council, the Riverview Pirate football team. They won their game Friday night, 22-21, I believe, against Trenton. Is that right? So it's the first round of the playoffs, and they played this Friday home against River Rouge, I believe. So wish them good luck then. Okay, 4.1, present certificates of recognition to the 2024 Halloween decorating contest. I'll read a background. This year, the Recreation Department once again held a successful Halloween decorating contest. Through a panel of judges of the Recreation Commission, the following residents have been recognized as the 2024 Halloween decorating winners. At this point, I'd like to invite Todd Dickman, the Recreation Director, up, and then our two council people who helped out, Councilman Prey and Councilwoman O'Neill. Join Todd out there. There you go.
Yes, thank you. This has been about the third or fourth year that we have now started a Halloween decorating contest, now that we have so many wonderfully decorated houses at Halloween during the time, going along with our holiday decorating for the Christmas season too. So we did have 6 people that were picked for winners for this year, and we had honorable mention and also 5 winners for it. Would either of you like to... Or do you want me to keep going? And then there's the prize. And so what it is we got a certificate for you and then a $25 gift card for Parthenon. So the first one is our honorable mention, and it's Willie and Jeanette Nino. I do not see either of them here tonight, so good job with that one. I will make sure they do get it. Okay, and then one of our winners, Mark Taylor at 19203 Coventry. Is Mark here? Family. Oh, doesn't look like it.
I just put them all together.
All right, and then Stephanie Sikowski at 17624 Brinson. Stephanie, all right. Oh, Stephanie, you want to stay up here? We're going to probably get a group picture of everyone with that. So, yeah, I know I was going to do that to you. So, and then Joseph and Lutz Party, and that's, what? Yes, and that's at 18384 Mulberry. You know, it's Lou's. I know that. I apologize. I want you, if you guys can stay on up here. All right. And then our next one is Michael and Maria Shing, and that's at 18220 Fox Glen, and they're not here tonight, so we will get them their certificate. And our last one is Brenda Patna at 18223 Hinton, and I don't believe she's here. She called me earlier today to say she probably wouldn't make it. So congratulations to all the winners, and thank you. And I know to the judges who went out, these two weren't our only judges. There were others. I know it's a very tough decision every year because there's a lot of houses that do such a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, all right. Great job on the Halloween decorating contest. There was a lot of pretty scary looking houses out there, and everybody did a great job. Okay, let's see. 5-1, excuse me, is that right? Yeah, 5-1, approve the minutes of the 10/21/24 regular Riverview City Council meeting and condensed version for publication. What's council's pleasure?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Councilman O'Neill, supported by Councilman Webb. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
Councilmember Prey?
Yes.
Councilmember Robbins?
Yes.
Mayor Swift?
Yes.
Councilmember Webb?
Yes.
Councilmember Workman?
Yes.
Councilmember Ganago?
Yes.
Tonight, we have no public hearings. Now's the time for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the mayor and council, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Try to keep your comments to 5 minutes. There's no sharing of time and no rebuttals, and please be respectful. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Council. Dear Riverview City Council members, my name is Swan Ahmed, and I'm reaching out as a proud resident of Riverview. I've been married to my husband, Joni, for 5 wonderful years, and we are parents to a spirited 4-year-old daughter. We moved into our home here last year after spending many years in Southgate, and we truly come to love this community. Our daughter even named our home her castle, which makes us smile every time we hear it. However, I'm writing today because we've been struggling with a neighbor dispute that began last year and has intensified in recent months. We find ourselves in a difficult situation involving verbal abuse and microaggressions, which have made life quite challenging for us. My family has always prioritized kindness and peaceful interactions, and it's disheartening to experience this kind of conflict. I want to take a moment to also express my heartfelt gratitude to the neighbors who have stood by us during this tough time. Your support has made a difference, and it reminds us of the strong sense of community that Riverview fosters. Additionally, I want to extend my thanks to Detective McDonald, Officer Rodriguez, Officer Parker, Officer Merritt, and Sergeant Thorne for their professionalism and support as we navigate through this situation. We're reaching out to the council in hopes of finding a way to mediate this situation. We believe your guidance could help us work toward a resolution that benefits everyone involved. The local police are aware of what's been happening, but we feel that mediation from the council could help create a more constructive dialogue. This situation has been unfair to our neighbors and the rest of the community. We all deserve to live in peace amongst each other without strife. Thank you for your attention to this matter and for your commitment to our community. We truly appreciate any assistance you can provide. Also wanted to add a side note. We were blocked and removed from the Riverview discussion page on Facebook. We were told it's because of the things other residents of the city commented, which is completely out of our control. My husband did not comment on the post, and he was blocked and removed from the group. We feel we were silenced, and it is unfair to remove us from the group because of what other members commented. We do not endorse any violence in any way. If admins did not approve of what was being commented, then they have the power to delete the comments and not the entire post. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I just sit down?
Oh, we need your address.
My address is 19841 Brandywine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Sally Sullivan, 14395 Hamilton Street. I had a couple questions. One is for the money that's paid for the Medicare that's on the agenda tonight. Is that only to previous retirees, or is that for anybody that retires from now on?
Quickly, it's for the people who are already retired.
So like the people retiring now would not get that benefit?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Then another quick question, the van that they're charging, my understanding is they're charging $5 each way. Is there any way that can be reduced? That seems like quite a lot to ask of a senior.
I don't know if we can ask that now. I mean, we have to do some investigation. Is it $5 each trip, or is it $5 round?
Each way.
Okay, right. So it's
Thank-
$10 round trip. Okay.
So I mean, I'm sure it's less than Lyft, but I know it's not even being utilized the way it should be, and maybe that might help. That was just an idea.
All right, well, thank you.
Okay, then my next thing is the status of the landfill or the dump. Is it still scheduled to be closed, or are we going to hear more about it?
Jeff, do you have an estimated lifespan at the current rate? Because I know it changes regularly.
Yeah, I believe the current rate is somewhere between 5 and 7 years.
Okay, is that where we stand? We're going to close it, or are you going to come back with the idea that you want it to be reopened and we're going to see it somewhere again?
Well, we'll give you some of those answers under other business at the end, but we'll give you maybe you might want to hear, but what you need to know.
Well, that's okay. I just need to know what's going to happen so I know how to react or what we want to hear. Even if it isn't what we want to hear,
Okay.
I want to hear it. And
All
that
right.
same thing goes for the wetlands, too. 'Cause that's a lot of property in Riverview. And for those of us that live near it need to know, and for anybody in Riverview needs to know, because that is a lot of environmental issues between the ash on 4th Street and the land on Jefferson. It's all environmental concerns for all of us.
It is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move on.
Good evening. Kathy Lambert. Talking about us being in court for 11 months in regards to 4 screws in a mailbox with Heather Smiley that was dismissed on September 3rd and then reinstated on the 13th. So now we're back in court again for a pretrial, which I don't understand because the attorney was withholding evidence. But during these 11 months, I found out that Heather Smiley had another case going, that she filed a lawsuit against the city of Riverview. And she had it filed with the city of Detroit. So I read the case, and when I got to the last page, it was regarding my fence at my house. So not only has she got the city attorney representing her for the mailbox, she's got the other city attorney being used with taxpayers' money to try to get this case closed downtown that she's trying to win. So I read through it, and there was so many lies in here, so much stuff We put a $10,000 fence up for privacy. She put less than a foot away from my fence, 40 bushes all the way down along that's going to get over my fence. So she just said all these accusations and so forth. So I came into mayor's office and sat down with the secretary and asked if I could see you. And I mentioned this at the last meeting, and you said that you weren't aware of me trying to get an appointment with you. I sat there in graphic detail talking to her. I left there. Then I called Randy's office, the city attorney's office, and left a message because I felt like I had the right to know what was going on. I pulled a permit, had a fence put in, got a green sticker, got a red sticker, had to go to zoning, and then if we wouldn't have found out by accident, we wouldn't even have known that she had you guys in court downtown over our fence trying to get it removed, but we do know it is dismissed. That's one thing. Then another thing, in July, I called to have yards of gravel put down in my driveway because we have a bunch of potholes, and which we do every year. And in my warranty deeds, it states that the Smileys are responsible for half of the maintenance, which they've yet to do. So the guy's out there, he's putting the gravel down in the driveway, and his son brought it to my attention that Heather Smiley's out there on the other side of the fence, either taking pictures or videotaping these guys out there filling the potholes. So within 30 minutes to an hour, I've got ordinance at the house telling me that I need soil samples before we can put the gravel in our yard. And we've never heard of such. Even when the Homemeisters lived there, they didn't have to get permits to fill the potholes. So then that evening, the guy that did my work, I went to cut him a check. He said, I get a phone call from this lady, said she was driving by and just wanted to know how many yards of gravel was in that truck. So I hit redial and I dialed it. It's ringing, and she said, Heather, can I help you? And I hung up. So my question is, why is it Heather has got one attorney fighting for her, one attorney fighting against her, but every time this woman picks up the phone and calls ordinance in the city on me, within an hour, they're out there on me? You said this is a civil matter. I think it's a conspiracy. That's exactly what I think it is. Because not only, I wish I could say what this lady's saying about her neighbor and how the police are trying to help her. I wish to God we've went through this for 10 years with her. But what's so bad, the city's piggybacking with her. I don't understand it. We can't get nowhere with nothing, and we haven't even done anything. Yeah, we're getting mad now about it, but we have a right to get answered, Andy. You said you feel bad, that you think that I didn't, you said, I'm really sorry, but I really think this is a civil matter. It is more than a civil matter. This whole thing is. I think it's because of the position that she's trying to hold that everybody is upholding her. And I think it's wrong. It should be equal across the board with everybody. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move on. Consent agenda. Is there any item council wants removed from the consent agenda?
9-2, Your Honor.
9-2. All right. 9-1, authorize agreement for community development, building, and building department consulting services from Carlisle Workman. 9-3, authorize solicitation of bids for a 2-year commercial cross-connection inspection program. It's council's pleasure.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman O'Neill, supported by Councilman Robbins. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Prey?
Yes.
Councilmember Robbins?
Yes.
Mayor Swift?
Yes.
Councilmember Webb?
Yes.
Councilmember Workman?
Yes.
Councilmember Ganaga?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yes.
9-2, approve retiree health care supplemental. Councilman Webb, what can we do for you?
I made a couple of phone calls today to try to understand
this supplemental pay to feel more confident with my vote. And I don't believe that I received adequate answers, so I just wanted to bring it forward here for discussions in case any of the council members are...
Well, can I ask, was one of those people myself or city manager?
No, I contacted HR because this is a benefit, and then they directed me to the finance department, so I spoke both with Ann
Okay.
and Tracy. So the questions I have is, can we be provided with more detail about the history of what the supplement payment is for? And secondly, why this group of retirees are receiving the benefit?
Well, I can answer the first one. We received the history from Mr. Kyleman, so you know what the history is. It started back in 2007. So that's the history. It's a payment's been taking place to our now 17 retirees. So that and this, what was the second part?
So what is it for, I guess, is not the history as far as the dates or chronological. Why are we making these payments to the retirees?
Gosh, I'm trying to remember, it's been so long. But from what I remember, it was a compensation, when they retired, I don't know whether we either couldn't or there was something where we couldn't provide this benefit. Councilman Workman, maybe you got a better understanding. You were part of that group, I believe.
We were going to have to open contracts. Many of these people are below the poverty line, and they came forward and asked for some relief. Council wanted to give them relief, but didn't want to get locked in. So we were receiving some rebates, and we told them as long as we were getting the rebates, we would split the rebates up with them, and if that ever occurred, if we didn't get them, then we weren't going to do it at that point. So that's where we're at. Most of them are in there, I would suspect now, above 80, 85. They retired with a 2 multiplier with nothing added to that. Many of them only made $18,000 a year when they were working. So we felt the need to help our retirees.
Yes. So the implication was too that, at least according to Mr. Kyleman's email, that they wanted us to stop this payment or stop doing this. I believe this was part of the budget that was approved by this entire council. So this payment has already been budgeted and approved.
I'm sorry. We did approve it, and so this is really just to disperse the payments, correct?
Correct.
Because it's already in the budget, we already approved the budget, and it's just saying, go ahead and disperse, correct?
Yes. Go ahead.
Your Honor, it is on page 11 of the current quarterly report that I shipped out, retiree health care supplement. It's included in there. And this was the budget that was approved in April or May?
May.
Yep.
Your Honor,
Councilman Workman.
I won't be here next year, so I'll be in contact with the retirees and prepare them that it looks like there are people pushing to do this. I'll let them know who they are.
I object to that. I'm not pushing anything. I'm trying to understand before I make a vote. I'm trying to educate myself.
Okay.
So I have, the second question is why this particular group of retirees? So the answer is because they were in the administrative group, which was low income with a 2 multiplier. And at some point, the city was getting benefits or monies returned for prescriptions or medical coverage, or am I clear on that? And are we still getting that reimbursement?
Well, the payment, I think, started when we were getting rebates, what are they called, return of premiums, whatever we call them. And I do know I don't know how many years that was, but there were several years where we didn't get that reimbursement. And the way I look at it, just so you understand how this budgeting works, I did the calculation, and I don't even know why we're wasting any brain cells on this. It's 0.00028% of the budget, and that budget's already been approved, so this is just for a disbursement of funds. We can have a discussion later if we want to continue this next year or years to come, but for me, this agenda item needs to be done to make that payment.
Your Honor, back to the question about receiving premium refunds, I think I've been with the city 5 years, and I can say that they did not receive a refund every single year, but I believe it was 2 of the last 5 years that the city has received refunds and premiums. And what that is basically, and I'm not going to say it's health, it's all wrapped in where there might be a rebate of the pooled insurance. So I remember one time someone telling me that we got a sizable refund. So,
Okay, and, I don't appreciate being chastised for asking these questions or being threatened that they're going to go to the retirees and say that somebody's raising these questions. I think it's in our interest to have the due diligence done for fiscal responsibility, okay?
Sure.
I do understand and did understand previously that this is part of the budget and it's just a formality that we're now approving this in the consent agenda.
But you could have gotten your questions easily. You've had the agenda since Friday.
I did. I spoke to 2 people in the department.
Okay.
I did not know I'm supposed to contact you directly about this.
No, you don't have, I would address the city manager. That's where I would start, and then from the appropriate person from there. If he doesn't get the answer, then he doesn't have it, he can get it. So that way you wouldn't have to call several people. You should just make one, and that would be to him.
Okay, well, point
That's just
taken.
my recommendation.
Understand, but it seems that Jeff didn't have the answer either way, so it would have been back to redirected. That's fine.
Okay.
So, appreciate that background. That's it.
Councilman Webb, I didn't have the 2007 background, but I had to have the background for the budget because I'm responsible for preparing that budget with my team. So we made that placeholder in there because we knew that that was our estimate that was going to be. And we'll know in February, March, what the new estimate will be.
Okay.
And you'll just need to look under that account to see if you agree with an increase or a decrease.
Yeah, and furthermore, I recall this being on the agenda last year and approved it because the same verbiage is in it this year again, which states it has been approved every year since its original adoption. So that's making the assumption or the opinion known that this should be approved. The question I really had was if they're getting the supplemental payment, it's because they don't have health care, correct, under their pension plan?
They have Medicare, I believe.
Tracy,
Humana? They get Humana?
They have Humana, yes.
So they have Humana, and they're also getting Medicare and supplemental.
They have Humana covered through the city, and Medicare Part A and B is paid for by the retiree.
and in theory, this is an offset to their Part B.
Okay. And only because I mentioned your name, Mr. Kalman, go right ahead. Wait a minute, sorry, go ahead.
Ken Kyleman, 20243 Coachwood. Yeah, thank you, Mayor. My name was mentioned. I had not planned on saying anything tonight. When I read through the backup for the meeting tonight, I saw this on the agenda as well as the backup for the history. So the history didn't come from me. I summarized the history in my letter. It was all in the backup if you had read the backup and prepared for the meeting, so that shouldn't have been a surprise. And my intention wasn't to cause a ruckus tonight. My intention was to encourage all of the council members to consider the history here, the purpose of it, and if it was something that this council feels you should go forward with. And I'm very sympathetic to the folk that I believe Councilman Workman is right. These people are probably all in their mid-80s right now. They probably don't have a lot of income coming in. They probably have Social Security. They probably have Medicare. But my concern was that this is a continuation of what is an accumulation of up to $500,000 or more than $500,000 that has been spent for this benefit that I don't believe, and I was asking for some insight, whether this was an earned benefit, was something that the city was contractually obligated to provide, or whether back in 2007, the council decided out of the generosity of their hearts and being warm people and loving people wanted to give to these people. But my concern is that that's discriminatory for the other people that are on the lower economic scale in the city that may just be living on Social Security, that don't have Humana, and have to pay their Medicare Part B out of their pockets. Why is this group of people who have connections in the city, have worked with the city, may know the council, may know the folk here, they get this benefit, but other folk that may be in a similar situation are discriminated against and are left out because they don't have the connections. And to me, it's patently unfair that the city would then, out of your generosity, give benefits to some folks and not to others for whatever reason you have when these people are connected and they're not. And so my intention was for you to think about it and possibly, as you make decisions in the future, to consider these types of things, especially as we're in a situation now where we're trying to cut costs where we possibly can. I feel sorry for these folks. If we can help them, that's great. Let's continue it. Let's
Mr.
go
Conlon, you
forward,
referred to that these retirees have connections. Like, well, since they know us up here, then, no, you said connections.
Okay, I did say
So the
connections.
inference is, do they have connections? The connection is, they're retired city employees.
That's right.
The entire city of Riverview didn't work for the city. We're an employer.
That's
So
right.
obviously, we have to take care of employees along with the residents. I get that. But they're retirees, and I'll say of the least earners amongst us, let's just say. So, I mean, we can have the discussion, but I'm not going to be open to stopping. As you suggested in your email, says, fiscal responsibility and fairness require these payments to end.
Right.
So you do want it to end. So, and I think, and we appreciate the emails we get before and after every council meeting on what we should do. So, obviously, there'll be a discussion, and we can talk about it, but we really need to focus on the bigger items, as Ms. Sutherland brought up, the landfill and those type of issues, as opposed to focused on something that's less than one half of 1/2%.
35,000 here and 35,000 there, and pretty soon we're talking
It does.
big money. And so,
I get it.
Right. And Mayor, I didn't mean to insult the council by saying connections, but these are people that are known by the city as opposed to the people that are unknown by the city. And that's what I meant by connections, and I didn't intend to insult you and suggest there's anything unscrupulous going on. Your motives are pure. You're trying to be generous to these employees, and I understand that. But if we want to be generous, let's be generous equally across the board to all of the citizens, not just the ones that were employed by the city, if we don't have a legal obligation or an ethical obligation to do that. And if you believe you have an ethical obligation, then that's fine with me. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Then I would look for a motion to 9-2, approve the retiree health care supplemental payment.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman O'Neill, supported by Councilwoman Ganaga. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes, I just wanted to make a statement that I did actually have these questions last year, but I'd only been on council for one meeting. So when I came back to the council this time again, and yes, there was an email from Mr. Kylman, but I already had these questions on my mind, so thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, Councilman Robbins.
Real quick, sorry.
Yes, sir.
I just think a little bit of that discussion was good. I think since it was started in 2007, it predated a lot of us. Those who weren't as familiar with the process, that's why conversation is super important amongst ourselves, I feel. And yeah, I just want to say that, like, you know, the questions that come up and arise is viable and warranted, but, you know, at the end of the day, we get to talk and make our decisions, I guess. So I won't fault anyone for asking questions, but at the end of the day, you know, we approved it. We did what we thought was right.
Thank you. Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Robbins,
Yes.
Mayor Swift.
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Workman,
Yes.
Councilmember Ganaga,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilmember Prey.
Yes. We have no resolutions, nothing under administration. Ordinance 12-1, authorized second reading by title only and adoption of the proposed ordinance number 750 to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Riverview, Section 66-3, to ratify and approve amended traffic control order number 433. It's council's pleasure.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Councilman Prey, supported by Councilman Robbins. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Swift,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Workman,
Yes?
Councilmember Ganaga,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilmember Prey,
Yes.
Councilmember Robbins.
Yes.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Riverview to amend Section 66-3 to ratify and approve Traffic Control Order Number 433.
I'll look for a motion from Councilman Workman to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Riverview, Section 66-3, and ratify and approve amended traffic control number 433.
So move, Your Honor.
Is there support? Support by Councilwoman Ganaga. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Workman,
Yes?
Councilmember Ganaga,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilmember Prey,
Yes.
Councilmember Robbins,
Yes.
Mayor Swift.
Yes. Other business, I will try to address Ms. Sutherland's questions about the landfill. That's certainly an option. There's, obviously, there's potential for an expansion, but we know that's been pretty tough so far. So I can't say what other stuff we have planned, but there's other avenues available for us to pursue. Obviously, whatever helps us defer the closing of the landfill, we certainly be open to do, because that's where our big expense comes in. Any business council wants to bring up?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Prey.
Just a few things. You mentioned at the beginning of the council meeting our congratulations to our Riverview Pirates. Our high school is in great need of getting volunteers for the game on Friday. Please, if for anybody watching, if you would consider donating a little bit of your time from 6:15 to 9 p.m. They need a lot of help. I think they only have 2 out of 9 volunteers wanted. And secondly, I just wanted to say publicly, Shane did a great job with early voting. It was absolutely amazing. We got in and out probably within 10 minutes. I thought everybody and her team did an amazing job. So, that's all.
We think so too, but we kind of beat you. We were in and out in less than 5 minutes because we brought them apple pie.
Well, Shane likes you more.
Oh, sorry.
Shane likes you guys more than she likes me.
But I would like to encourage everybody to get out to, obviously it's going to be a long day tomorrow for a lot of people. And then I don't know about anybody else, I'm looking forward to get the front of City Hall cleaned up and Grange Road cleaned up of all the political signs that they're out that really shouldn't be there. But good luck to all those who are running, and I just wish them the best. And also good luck tomorrow too to Shane and your group. You guys have got your work cut out for you.
Your Honor.
Be kind.
Randy. Randy.
Your Honor, I would like to touch on some comments that were made this evening. It is true that the city was sued by the named person. The city did prevail. We do not represent that individual. We represent the city when we do prosecutions, not the complainant. In that particular case, I've reassigned Mr. Hurley, who will be handling the case. Mr. Hurley has reached out to the defendant's attorney this morning, and I'm sure the person speaking tonight will hear from her court-appointed attorney in due course. And as far as calls to me, I wasn't aware of any call being made to me. Otherwise, I would have returned it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Randy. With that, I will look for a motion to adjourn from Councilman Workman.
So move, Your Honor.
Support.
Supported by Councilwoman O'Neill. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Workman,
Yes.
Councilmember Ganaga,
Yes.
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Councilmember Prey,
Yeah.
Councilmember Robbins,
Yes.
Mayor Swift,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb.
Yes.
Let the record show we adjourned at 7:39. Thank you, everybody.